even draft your sleeve, you need to through your armhole of whatever garment you are placing it on or in. You need to through it to be sure that the front is either equal to the back or a little shorter. So I'm just going to measure my bodice to see how much I have here. So I have 8¼ here, and for the back I have 7¼ which means the front armhole is 1 inch longer than the back. So what I'm going to do is balance them. I'm going to find my nipple point. Okay. I'm going to connect a line all the way to the midpoint of my armhole, like this. And remember, we are taking 8¼ minus 7¼ so we have 1 inch left. So we are going to take that 1 inch away from this side. And we are going to cut it open. We need to transfer it somewhere, so I'll be transferring mine to the bust dust. So I'll slash and I close. Use short paper. So what you are going to do is take an extra sheet and place it under. Use your tape to secure it. Now we are going to test. What we are aiming for right now is the front armhole to be 7¼ or a little lower, which is maybe 7. So 7¼ or 7 is fine. So we are going to first of all just trace. Don't mark it completely yet. Then you measure. I have 7¼ exactly. I'll leave it at that. Okay, it can be equal or a little shorter. Anyway, it's fine. So I'll leave it at that. So now that we threw the armhole and we have 7¼ here and we have 7¼ here, we know the total is 14.5. That's for our armhole. 14.5. So we'll put that aside. Make sure this paper is the length of your sleeve, and then it should be a little bigger than the width of your bicep, a little bigger by maybe 3 inches. Now we're going to just I folded this paper like this so that I could get a crease line, and this is going to serve as my center line. And from here we are going to come down by our cap height. Let's see. So our cap height, I hope I'm spelling that right. Okay, so to get your cap height, you want to divide your 14.5 by either 3 or 4, or 14.5, 4. This gives you a taller cap height, and this gives you a shorter height. Okay, now when you use this, if you use this it will give you a taller cap height, which is more suitable for things like jackets and suits. If you're making just an ordinary fitted cloth for everyday wear, you're going to want to go by 4 inches. Okay, so mine is 14.5 divided by 4. I don't have my calculator, so I'll just use my tape measure. I'll fold it into 2 first, and then I'll fold it into 2 again. So what I have here is 358. So my cap height is going to be 358 inches. Okay. I'll measure from the top here. I want to leave a line at the top, I like doing that just for future alterations. You don't know what will happen. So just leave 1 inch line at the top. It's not serving any purpose. It's just for allowance. Okay, so from here, this now becomes our main line. So from our top line, we are going to come down by our cap height. Mine is 358, like we saw. We are going to draw a line across like this. Now this line is our bicep line. Okay. So what you are going to do is take your bicep measurements. Mine is 10.5. You're going to divide 10.5 by 2 minus 558. I'll mark it here. Then I'm going to add a ½ inch for ease. Now this ease that you're adding will determine the amount of ease you end up having here. If I add, normally what I've realized is if I add ½ inch as ease, I tend to get exactly my armhole measurement. So if you want to have a little gathering there to give you a smooth rounded sleeve cap, you can add at least 3/4. Okay, but for now let me just use the ½ inch so that we'll see the results of it. So 5 1/4 plus ½ inch. Now you're going to connect this back to the top of our line like this. You should have a triangle looking like this. Then you go ahead and then divide this line into 4 equal parts. This line as well. So what we'll do is to measure what we have here. I have 6 3/4 here. I'm going to divide the 6 3/4 by 4. Okay. And what I get, I'm going to just be marking it along the line like this till I get to the end. Now I have 4 equal parts here. I'm going to do the same for this side. I have 4 equal parts. Now you have to determine where you want to be your back and your front. This will serve as my front and this will serve as my back. Now on these lines or these points are where we are going to be allocating our measurements. Now these measurements I'll be using are standard. Use it like that. There is no argument about it. Whatever figures I'm using, always use the same figures for your own. So for this side at the front, I'm going to come up by 3/4 inch, by 3/4 of an inch, and on this line I'm going to come up by 0.3. So this is 0.3, and on this line I'm going to come in by ½ inch. You see that? Okay, so this will be 0.3, and then this will be ½ inch. We'll go to the back. So the back, we instead of coming up by 3/4 like we did for the front, we are going to come up by 5/8 inches. These are just subtle differences, but they make a whole lot of difference. Okay, and then this point we are going to come up by 1/4, and on this we'll come in by 3/8 of an inch. Okay, is that 3/8? Okay, yes, so 3/8 of an. So this is 5/8, this is 1/4, and this is 3/8 inches. I have my old curve. This is like 8 years. I had it since I was in fashion school. Now let me do it this way, then we'll see how we'll join it. So you're going to make sure your curve is connecting from this point to this point to this point. Okay, you see that? Okay, now we are going to connect the last 3 points. So from this point to this point to this point. But this time we'll be angling our curve as such. Okay, you see that? You see how steep it is. Now let's go to the back. From this to this to this. Okay, and then we'll turn our curve like this, and then connect from this to this to this. Like that. When you have something like this at the top, just blend it in, okay, to give it that rounded top edge. Now the next thing we are going to do is, before we even go into adding our elbow to our wrist. Let's measure these to be sure that we have the right length. So this part should be equal to 7.25 and then 7.25. So what we'll do is we'll pick 7.25 here, place it at the end of the curve like this, then measure along the curve slowly,
so you don't miss even an eighth of an inch.
Slowly. If you have a curve, I know there are curve rulers too, so you can use that if you have one, but I don't, so I'll just be, see, it doesn't get to the line exactly, it's just a small difference. Now we are going to come here and take our 7.25 again and mark along the line like this. Same thing we did for the front. You see 7.25 aligns here exactly. That means that this is the middle. Okay, so you see it gives you an equal part, like we don't have any ease in here. So this line you see here is going to be our line that will be joining to our shoulder seam. Okay, our shoulder seam. This is not this. This is the line we'll be joining to our shoulder seam. And mind you, there's no ease here. So if you want more ease, then you can gather. Normally for fitted garments, you need more ease here so that you can gather. But just make sure that even if back stops here and front stops here, you find the middle of that line, and that will give you the center point where you use to join to your shoulder line on the body. Okay, I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So when you are done with this, then we'll measure our our elbow line. Mine is 12 inches. Then I'll draw a horizontal line across like this. Then from here, I'm going to take my elbow measurements divided by 2. Mine is 5 inches. Then I'll just add quarter for ease. This is optional. If you are using a stretchy fabric, no need. So 5 plus a quarter for ease. And I'm going to join from the bicep line all the way to that point. Measurements. Oh shoot, sorry, I took 1 inch off, but that's fine. Make sure you make yours at least 1 inch more so that you don't run out of paper like I have. But so the 21 is fine. 9.5. So 9.5 divided by 2 will give me 4 3/4 on one side and 4 3/4 on the other side. Okay. And I'm just going to join these together. And with that, you have your sleeve. I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Remember, this is your new center line you'll be joining to your shoulder seam, not this. You have your sleeve. Now if you fold this like this along the middle line, along the line that will be joining to our armhole, you see what's happening here? The back tends to be bigger than the front, and that's how balanced your armhole will be. You love this, guys. You love the sleeve method. So that is that.